So the weapon that we're going to look at to start with is one that's nicely inside that first zone, and that is the elbow. We've got these elbows and they're surprisingly devastating, and they're nicely available. So inside this space, which is a comfortable space for me to work, right, I get access to be able to use my elbows. And the first elbow we're going to have a look at is the outside to inside elbow. Before we even hit with something, we have to figure out what we can do with our elbow. And if you grab your own elbow here for a second and you leave your hand open, you'll find that there's a little bony piece that sticks out, right? And this is when your elbow cuts, okay? Then if you make a fist, you'll feel that your muscle goes over the top of that elbow now, and that's when your elbow clubs. And you should be able to feel relatively easily that as you clench your fist, it becomes a clubbing weapon, and if it opens up, it becomes a cutting weapon. If my target area is like this, around his eyebrow or something like that, I can keep my hand open and I can just slice it like this, and it's going to hit bone on that eyebrow and it's going to cut him. If I'm looking for more of a kind of an impact kind of club here, then I'm going to be making my fist and I'm hitting against the side of his head here. Both of them are very, very devastating. Right? So let's not actually practice with full power. Right? But we look for the right distance. Out here, it's the wrong distance. Right? So what's the right distance? It's an arm's length away. Boom, there it is there. Right? If it's cutting, it's a little bit more slicey, a little bit further away. All the normal things about striking apply, right? If I'm just using my limb, it's not very powerful. I want to turn my hips, turn my whole body into it, and it comes off the ground. I'm pushing off the ground to be able to strike with that elbow. In this position, absolutely, if I step, I'll be able to connect. But he can also step. 1, 2, 3, step, and it's no longer at the right range. Okay? Whereas at this range, 1, 2, 3, he's going to get hit because it's one action, not a step action. Okay? So that's where the elbow range is pretty much inside. There's my immediate elbow strike this way. Now sizes also matters. Okay? So if you're a little bit shorter, right, then it might be a little bit harder for you to hit with this outside inside. If you're a little bit taller, it might be a little bit harder for you to get power in this direction. You might want to go from a slight angle. Okay? They're all fine. They're still outside to inside. So when you're practicing, we usually practice one that's direct and one that kind of comes in over the top. Okay, same thing over here. It's easy to see on the camera, right? A direct one or one that comes in from that kind of 45 above the horizon. I'm a taller guy, so it's rarer for me to do that one, but it's still the same shape. Okay, so if you're a little bit shorter, then you might be coming from that lower 45, and it's fine. There's just more things that could get in the way at that point. Right? So if he's just got his hands up in this position, it's much easier for something to get jammed if I'm going in this direction. It's much more difficult for him to have something already there. People don't kind of stand up like this. Right? So coming in over the top, all round, I'm going to have a higher success rate than if I'm shorter and I'm trying to get up. There's more likely to be something in the way. So something's gone across here, and now I'm in this position over here, and we've got the inside to outside elbow. Often the inside to outside elbow, boom, can then wrap, and you can start getting some control of that person's neck as well. So it's good to think about it straight away, rather than just hit him and then figure out what to do. From in front, I'm bringing my arm across. Again, it's not just the limb that's moving, it's the body that moves into the elbow. Okay? So we're striking, and then we can wrap. The position after here is going to be a guillotine, but just for now we can just wrap it. The next one's the rising elbow. Okay, it rises. Okay, so if I get a hold of his head here, I can come up in a nice vertical here, boom, right here, boom, right here, rising up. There. You can hit the body with it as well, but going up there. Okay, so there's two different elbows to get a feel for. Inside, outside, and rising. So if we hit them in the groin first and their head comes down, right, we end up with the falling elbow, right? So it comes up over the top and goes down. Now that's devastating. It doesn't mean that you can't use this elsewhere. So somewhere in here, I can use this, right? But this is obviously the easiest one to remember to practice in this shape. The back elbow is a little bit different. So if I'm over here, in the movies, you see people doing this, and they've got like the ability to stop people, right? The thing is, you're not actually very strong in this direction. So the back elbow needs to be reinforced by another hand. This is how I do it. I make a fist, I place my hand over the top of it, and I drive. So I'm using both hands to make that back elbow work. I lean forward. I take my elbow and I come in over the top. Now, if I just do this, it's kind of, this is really awkward now. Forward, and then it opens up an opportunity here. Or forward, and then it opens up an opportunity. So the next kind of idea to using an elbow, right, is using the spike. We call this the spike, okay? And so just to set kind of the scenario, it's awesome if you know you're going to be in a fight, and it's less awesome when you're in a fight and then you find out you're in a fight, okay? So when you just get whacked, right, and that's the start of the fight, you don't have any of those preparation things, warm-up things, awareness things. You're sitting here minding your own business and you get whacked, okay? At that point, you can't say, I wasn't ready. You're in the fight and you just got hit, okay? The first thing that you should do when you get hit, right, assuming you're still conscious, all right, is put your hands up to protect your head because the next one's coming. So the first one snotted you, right? Second one's coming, your hand should be up to protect yourself, okay? And we call that covering, right? It's a natural instinct. In that position over there, right, as I'm laying into you, you're covering up. But eventually something's going to slip through and you're going to get snotted again. So you can't just stay there, cover your head, right? You just can't stay there. You're going to have to do something else. And that's where the spike is useful. So I'll just show you what the spike's going to look like. All right? So I've just got hit and my hands are up to protect myself. Okay? I'm going to take this hand, and I'll explain later why, and I'm going to move it over to my forearm. Then I'm going to launch off my feet, and I'm going to go forward to wherever he is. Boom, boom, right? Here, and I'm just going forward. I don't have to hit. I just have to break up his initiative. If I hit, awesome. I hit him with an elbow, right? Or if I'm a bit shorter, I hit him in the throat. Or I'm a bit closer, I hit him and push him away. All I need to do is make that elbow become dangerous to him and move it into where he wants to protect. If it connects or it doesn't connect, it's irrelevant. Right? So from here, I'm getting whack, 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 boom, cover and drive. Straight away, I'm driving that elbow forward. And he doesn't like that. What's your natural response, right? When this is coming at you. Back away, put your hands up, do whatever, but it's not hitting me anymore. As he's coming in here, I didn't know it was a fight until I got hit. My hands are up over here. I position it to here, and I just go forward. And I change the initiative, I change what I'm doing. Now, as a grappler, boom, right, I'm in the fight, right? As an Aikidoist, here, it might be boom, create space and get your hands back in front of you to be able to deal with what you're doing. It doesn't matter. He's not hitting you the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th time, and you're not knocked out. I said I needed to put this hand here. That's really important. So you're not going to do that. You're just going to put your hands up over here. All right, cool. Have a look at what happens here. Just turn this into this direction here. Okay, cool. Yeah, spike me. Okay, yeah, again, spike me. It's very easy. Just use an elbow here. Yeah. It's very easy to turn. Cool, now brace. Good, go. There's a brace. Okay, I can still move it if I'm much bigger and much stronger. Right? But as a percentage, yeah, go. It's reinforced. There's your triangle there. Okay, your whole body is now behind it. I always kind of have that feeling of like the old Romans would have had with their shield up, and they have the little spear, and they do that kind of stuff when I'm doing this, right? So in this position in here, I'm driving that spear into the person. Alright, so if somebody's got their hands up in this position over here, right? Sometimes we need to move things out of the way. And a nice way to move things out of the way is to do this. We've got a nice little deflective elbow that we can do here. Boom, boom. Okay? So, in this position, his hands are in the way. I want to move the hands out of the way and go around. It's basically an outside-inside, but it's like a deflective one. Okay, his hands are in here. Right? As I move it, I'm then able to continue through and turn that into a deflecting elbow. So, if I was here, I wouldn't pull it out again and then hit. It's kind of like a bounce, right? So it's closer to the spike than it is to the full outside-inside elbow. Because that would take time, right? So if I did this, so you keep your hands here, I move this out the way, come through, and hit. There's quite a lot of time involved to do that, right? So whereas this one is more like a push. Right? So I am coming round, but it's the same kind of thing as the spike, more than it is the swing and hit him with the elbow. Okay, so from here, boom, boom. So, in this position, elbows are really awesome, right? They are really awesome. For me, not so much for him, okay? So we can take this arm, and we can clear some space. And then we can just come in and smash the out of him, right? Without him doing very much about it, okay? When you're standing and you get hit, your head can move back and take some of that energy that kind of floats back up the back there. Whereas this way, the earth is hitting you, and I'm hitting you at the same time. Right? So clear some space and smash the shit out of him and hit him in an unfriendly manner, right in this position. You can do any of those here. And he'll tell you this is not very good for him.